When one studies the history of warfare, it's very easy to get caught up in some of the battles and the operations and some of the major players involved, and forget about another group of people whom warfare affects, and that is the civilians. In France in 1940, the people here had their lives turned upside down whenever Germany invaded and occupied this country. And their lives were turned upside down again on June 6th, whenever the Allies invaded the beaches at places like this right here. This is Utah Beach. Today, we're going to be going inland a little bit to the city of Sainte Marie du Mont to look at really one of the most fascinating stories I have ever heard about some of the civilians who lived through this experience and had their lives changed, not just during the war, but for the years after. Right now, we are standing at Utah Beach, and what we're looking at is one of the first memorials to go up along the Normandy coastline. This one is to the 1st Engineer Special Brigade, landed at H Hour on June 6th, 1944. So this monument was dedicated on the 1-year anniversary of the Normandy landings, and Eric actually has a photo from that event in his collection.
This is an original period photograph taken at this very spot on Utah Beach, and this is from our collection at the Gettysburg Museum of History. One of the things that really jumped out at me in this photo are these little girls wearing parachute dresses. And it has a caption on the back. It says, "The U.S. Color Guard and Little French Flower Girls stand in front of the monument dedicated to the men of the 1st Engineer Special Brigade who fell on Utah Beach on D-Day." The memorial was unveiled at a special ceremony held on the beach, Utah Beach, France, 6 June 1945, so 1 year after the invasion at Utah Beach.
Okay, so as Eric said, we're standing right here at the very spot where that photo was taken in 1945, and he mentioned that one of the things that really stands out in this photo are the flower girls. Well, we happen to have one of the flower girls right here with us. This is Danny, and she is the girl right here in this American dress.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Dani Patrix.
So, hello, my name is Dani Patrix.
En 1945, j'ai eu le privilège d'assister au premier anniversaire du débarquement.
So, in 1945, it was a pleasure for me and an honor to be there for the first anniversary of the D-Day.
Et pour cette occasion, ma maman m'avait confectionné une petite robe.
And for this event, very big event, my mother made a dress, looks like American flag.
Voilà. Et donc, lorsque j'étais habillée avec cette petite robe, et plusieurs années même après,
so when I wore this dress and many years after,
c'était mon passeport. Je pouvais aller partout.
This dress was the pass to go everywhere. All the doors are open to go with the officer and official people.
Avec les présidents de la République française, plusieurs, et ça m'a permis de côtoyer des gens très importants.
Because I wore this dress, I can be present to the president of the République française, of the different president of different country, officer.
Et voilà, donc c'était formidable parce que bon, je me souviens de certaines choses, mais j'étais quand même une petite fille.
So
donc,
I remember many things, but I still was a little girl, so.
Il y a des choses qui m'ont marqué beaucoup, et ensuite, bon, ben, il y en a d'autres qui sont un petit peu plus cool.
Voilà. Donc, I remember many things, and especially the first ceremony just behind the monument here. And some of them I forgot because I was young, but I kept a very nice memory of these events.
We've moved back in here to Sainte Marie du Mont, and as we mentioned back at the beach, they had the ceremony for the 1-year anniversary of the D-Day landings on June 6, 1945. Now, Danny's parents lived right up here on the corner, and after the war, well, her dad decided to buy a bar right here, and he opened it also on the first anniversary of the D-Day landings. So this is such a cool story. Danny's dad and her family were so appreciative of what the Americans did here that they decided to name their bar the June 6th bar, the 6th of June bar. I could try and pronounce that in French, but it would just embarrass me. But it's pretty cool because they wanted to honor the men who liberated this town on D-Day. All right, we're going to dodge inside and take a look now. Okay, so I'm just now walking into the bar that Danny's father started, and there was a cousin that they had who painted these murals on the wall. Now again, the dedication was for the engineer monument, so you see the engineer symbol right down here in the corner, and then again another mural over here, and these are so well done, but this showing again the monument there, and then another one over here to the 101st Airborne who landed in this area. So this whole place was kind of a monument in and of itself to the men of the U.S. Armed Forces who liberated Sainte Marie du Mont. All right.
Several years ago, we got a collection of photographs at the Gettysburg Museum of History, and there were press photos. And I noticed this one that has a caption on the back about a little girl named Danny, and her father had a bar in Sainte Marie du Mont. And I noticed this dress that she had on in this interesting mural in the background. And having some experience with parachutes and World War II parachutes and Normandy, I noticed it was a flag, and you know, I have a couple in our collection, but most dresses made out of parachute are single color. But I also know that they make parachutes in several different colors. White is reserve, red is for drop containers, and then of course there's the camouflage ones, but every different type of supply is a different color so they can find it easier. You know, medical is one color, ammunition is another color. So it's possible to create a dress like this. So I thought, wow, she's pretty young in this picture. I thought, well, maybe she's still alive. What happened to this little girl? I often think those kind of thoughts when I see these old photos. So I have a lot of friends in Sainte Marie du Mont. I come here all the time, and I reached out to some of my friends. And I said, hey, there's this little girl, and I sent them this photo, and they said, oh, we know that little girl. She's still alive. And her daughter is active in World War II memory, and she goes to events. And so they put me in contact with her daughter. And we arranged a meeting when I came here with Brad Freeman in 2017. And it was a great experience to meet her, and you know, she got very emotional when she saw Brad Freeman, the people who had their freedom taken away. It's really special for them to meet veterans, and it was just an amazing experience, and it was a great experience connecting with these people, and we're still friends today, and I'm glad to be with them today.
So here's the picture that we were looking at earlier at Utah Beach, and in this picture Danny is about 6 years old. Well, kids have a tendency to grow, so she outgrew this dress. This one is at the Utah Beach Museum, and her mother made her another dress, again out of material that was left behind in the war, just because of the shortages. So in this picture she's probably around 7 or 8 years old. Well, this dress is right here.
Oui, après le débarquement, il n'y avait pas de tissu.
There is no fabric after the D-Day.
Et donc, maman voulait me faire une petite robe aux couleurs de la bannière américaine.
My mother wants to make a dress looks like the American flag.
Et des soldats américains qui venaient très souvent à la maison.
And some GI who came very often at the house of my mother.
Lui ont dit nous avons du parachute et on va vous le donner.
So they explained that they have parachutes, and if you want, we can give you parachutes to make something like the dress.
Donc ma maman m'a fait cette petite robe, vous voyez, faite à la main.
She sewed this dress homemade, you know, because there is no machine to do that. So.
Sauf ce morceau qui a été fait dans une récupération de tissu.
Except this blue fabric, because it's not parachute, it's just a piece of fabric, blue fabric.
Et mon papa, avec un pochoir.
And my father paint stars on.
Voilà, c'est l'histoire de ma petite robe.
That is the story of the dress.
Wow. Can I see some of the other things that your mother made?
Là, est-ce que tu peux voir d'autres choses que...
Ah.
Okay.
Et puis plus tard, j'étais plus grande.
So when
j'avais 14-15 ans.
And when I was probably 15 years old.
Et donc on a fait beaucoup de vêtements en parachute, mais du parachute de soie, de fin.
So many clothes are made with parachutes. It's silk parachute, so it's not the same that the dress.
Et j'ai porté la petite robe.
And I
I
wore this shirt when I was young.
Et alors que j'étais plus petite,
and when I was younger,
ma maman me confectionnait des petits tabliers.
And so my mother, my grandmother, made the apron. Looks like this one.
Voilà. Alors il y en a plusieurs. Il y a l'autre petit. Voilà. Il y a celui-là aussi. Et là j'étais un peu plus grande, donc.
But she was a little bit taller.
Mais on a gardé beaucoup de tissus de parachute pour fabriquer longtemps des petites choses.
But they kept a lot of fabric of parachute to make clothes, because parachute is very big, so you can make many things inside.
This is just so incredibly cool to me. So this material right here, this is material from a reserve parachute. And then this material, to the touch, it's a little bit heavier. So the red and white would have been from some sort of supply parachute. And Danny was telling me that this material right here was just material that they had. So material, again, was in short supply, but they did have some. And then her dad kind of like stamped or painted these stars on. So this was done in the 1940s and is still there today. But pretty amazing to see how these materials from the U.S. Army were repurposed for the people here in France. All right, now again, here is the picture of Danny on the bar with the paratrooper mural in the background. And here is the mural where that picture was taken. How cool is that? So here's one other thing that I want to show. This is a family album from Danny's family that has all kinds of signatures from some pretty prominent people from World War II who visited after the war. Here's Major General Maxwell Taylor. Here's one from Colonel Sink. There are just all kinds of signatures and photos and things like that in here. There's one from General Collins. I saw one in here whenever I was looking earlier from Charles de Gaulle. Just a crazy amount of memorabilia and photos and things like that from the war. Oh, and here's a picture of the June 6th bar in the 1940s.
Ma maison était ici en 1944.
So in 1944, my house where I live was right there. Now it's a restaurant.
Et lors du débarquement, il y avait les camions et les tanks
Voilà.
américains.
And when the GIs came, there is trucks, jeep, tanks in the road, on the road, and there is a mess.
Et mon papa a vu qu'il y avait un Allemand mort dans la route.
And my father saw a German officer or soldier died on the road.
Et les tanks et les camions américains ne pouvaient pas s'arrêter.
So and the tank and jeeps and the American cars, can't stop.
Et mon papa a pris l'Allemand par les jambes et l'a tiré sur le trottoir pour qu'il ne se fasse pas écraser.
And so my father take the German by the boots and put it on the right side, just not on the road, to preserve his body,
Et l'Américain qui était sur le char lui a fait un signe pour le remercier.
And the American soldier on the tank say thanks like this to my grandfather, so his father.
Voilà.
Wow.
Faut respecter.
To respect the person, he was very human, and so we don't road on the body on the road. It's not correct. So.
Wow. Can you tell me? Can we walk over here and you show me?
Je vais montrer la maison. So la maison.
Voilà, c'était un peu ça, l'entrée.
Ah, c'était là-bas, toi.
Oui, oui.
Ah, c'est la maison.
Petit Nord-sur-Sèvre, c'est pas la même vitrine. Avant, c'était.
So it was not looks like this because now it's a restaurant.
Elle
but it looks
ressemblait
like
plutôt à côté.
a house with just a door and just two windows on the right side, and it was just this place when I was young and during the D-Day where I lived.
Alors j'étais petite, j'étais sur le bord de la route.
So when the GIs came and I was a little girl.
Et ils m'envoyaient des chewing-gums, des candies.
And a
Dans mon tablier.
lot of GI have candies or chewing gum, and they, send the chewing gum in the apron.
Et lorsqu'il était plein, j'allais le vider dans la maison et je revenais, pareil, pour ne pas que ça tombe par terre.
And when it was empty, I threw up the apron and come back to have more candies and chewing gum.
Well, that right there may have made the entire trip worth it for me. To be able to meet somebody like Danny and hear her story and hear a little bit about the civilian side of what happened here during World War II and in the years after. Now, there's a more complete version of this story. They made a documentary about Danny and this whole thing with the dress and the pictures and all of that in a documentary called The Girl Who Wore Freedom. So definitely be sure to check that out and learn a little bit more about this story. Very, very cool. Glad that this was able to happen.